What's up? What's up? I see it's two people in the house already. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you all for being here. I haven't done an off topic Tuesday in quite some time, thanks to this swirl around in the world we got going on, but that's okay. We having one tonight, and there will be another one on the 24th. I think you'll like that. I won't talk about what it's about just yet, but tonight I'm having somebody back on the show who I had on my podcast back when it was audio only, and it was in regards to mental health. So that's why this is called Let's Talk Mental Health 2.0, because I'm bringing back Chy Johnson. I first met her back in, I want to say it was 2 years ago now. It was a play called, I think it was When God Changed My Almost. I think that's what the name of it. Yeah. And she did a preface to the play. And I'm gonna play that and then I'm gonna bring her on after we get the intro because she really impressed me and I just wanted to talk to her after that. I really did. So let's get started and let's get it on.
It should be okay for us to say, you know what, I just need a little help right now. Oftentimes when we think about mental health, we think that means I'm crazy, or we think something is wrong with me. But that's not the case. Oftentimes it's not what's wrong with me, it's what happened to me, or what didn't happen for me that's caused certain things to be taking place in our lives. But I want us to be mindful of the systematic things that have happened in our community that have impacted us in such a way that we're afraid sometimes to accept the help of those that are in certain positions like doctors, also psychiatrists and counselors and social workers. In our community, we have to tell the truth about those systematic things that happen to us. And we have to take a stand to make it different.
I know that's right, Chy Johnson. So let me bring her on because we need to get this conversation started. Hey, hey,
Hi,
what's going on with you tonight?
I am just relaxing tonight. Excited about being on the show. And I was watching that intro and I said, who is that? So
You look just a little bit different. Your hair's longer, you know. Yeah, I when you came out and had that little conversation with us, because it was short, but it was full of information. It was packed. And there was a lot of aha moments and a lot of like, yeah, that's so true. And just, I loved it. And I was like, I really need to get her card and I need to talk to her. And that's what my whole thought was. I need to have her on the podcast. And I don't even think I had started it at that point. So yeah, that was in the making. That was in the making. So welcome to Vibin In The D Off Topic Tuesdays.
awesome sauce.
Yeah, and actually, you're a welcome back to the show because it was audio before. Speaking of which, Nubian, who was sitting in with us before, she said, "Hey, Chy."
Hi.
So, what's been going on with you first and foremost?
Well, just like everybody else, I am being impacted by all of the things that we're going through in our country. COVID. I'm impacted by the racism, the rampant racism that we're seeing in our country. And I'm also impacted by the care that people are showing to each other too. And so while there's been some hard things that have happened since I last spoke with you,
Mm-hmm.
I have made a conscious choice to think about the good things and people that are yet happening in this time of crisis.
Yeah. Yeah, we have to. We have to reach for the things that are positive because it's so much negative out there. And it's like it will overwhelm you. Because I've been overwhelmed a few times. I tell you that much. You know,
I
I
think everybody's.
cat across the room. No, I haven't. I didn't do that. I didn't do that.
No, I know better than that. But I think what I have noticed is that our whole country is like, I think I said this to you before, like at the end of the year, we just really all should just stop and scream Jumanji so we can get out of this game.
Yeah.
You know, I know I posted that, but it feels like, but it's weird because it's like we're not alone, but we're all going through like it's not just one crisis that we're facing. We're
Yeah.
not experiencing just one trauma. There's layered trauma as a unit that's happening. And I'll put my hands down because I remember that you're saying we're broadcasting. So
Oh, you good. You can gesture.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of things going on, and and it's always, to me, it's always been a topic that people kind of shy away from. Like you said in the beginning, people think, oh, I'm crazy or something's wrong with me, and that's not the case. It's like we just sometimes need another way to regroup.
Yes.
And a lot of times talking to people that know you is not the way.
Because they know too much about you. You know what I mean? Or they think they do, right? One of the things I find most interesting is that we are all getting to know ourselves. So we're changing. We're
Right.
not static. You know what I'm saying? Like we're ever moving. I mean, stagnant. That's the word I was looking for. We're not stagnant as individuals. It may look like to other people that we are, but we're not. And we're constantly evolving, constantly changing. And it's hard to keep up with our own selves. And then we have our family and friends who want to support us. However, they think they know about us, and they give us information that is actually subjective. It's based on their perspective, it's based on their opinion. And it's really a good idea to reach out and connect with someone that can be objective,
Right.
right? And help you to grow and to know yourself better because that's a different position. I still believe that although we're growing and we're evolving, we are still the experts on ourselves. You know what I'm saying? In some things, we really are, and we have been literally not trained but educated to not trust ourselves, which also causes some issues. And an objective, supportive partner to come along and come beside you is actually very helpful.
Yeah. I want to give a shout out to Lachelle, Miss Dina, Nubian, and Nikki Geo. What up? I was it's so funny that we were talking about getting together and having this conversation again. This book came to my job earlier this, it might have been last week or Saturday or Friday, I don't know. Anyway, it was before today. And my coworker was reading it and she was like, "Oh wow, it's a section in here that on mental health. And it says the mental health crisis. We need to talk about it."
Mm.
And it's really talking about African American women and how the beginning of the article says finding the right treatment for mental health concerns can be difficult in this country, and Black women usually have to surmount even higher hurdles than others to get the support they need.
Facts.
And it's like that is so true, and it just goes on. The article is really awesome. There are a couple people that contribute to the information in here, which is Angela Neal Barnett. She's a PhD, a professor of psychological sciences, and the director of the program for research on anxiety disorders among African Americans in Kent State University. Um, it's just talking about how it's very low numbers of Black women in psychology, in therapy positions or counselors, and it's messed up that, to go to one, then you first have to explain, what it is to be a Black woman, and there's no connection there,
Yeah.
and it just makes it even harder for somebody to get that help.
It really does. Now, I would have liked to have read that particular article, which I have not had an opportunity to, but since you have it, I know I may get a chance to read that article. Um, One of the things that I will say is like traditionally, for African American women in this country, or Black women, the whole diaspora, oftentimes we're seen as this strong woman, and we are so strong, and then we have, and for me, it just goes back centuries, I think we talked about generational trauma and things of that nature. And so there's one hand, we have been told that we're this strong woman, and then we've tried to personify it. But one of the and that's actually detrimental to us. And I also work with something called infant mental health, where we support mothers and babies. And I think I've said this before. But one of the interesting things is it's been statistically proven that when a Black woman goes in for medical procedures, she is oftentimes not believed, and not when she says she's in pain. It's been statistically proven that if she goes in with the same symptoms of another woman from a different ethnicity, that woman's going to get a different treatment than the Black woman with the same exact symptoms.
That
And
is so horrible.
it's true though, and it's hard to hear. And so when we're talking about going into a mental health professional that may not be of our ethnicity, I think there are those who have made a conscious effort to try to support us, and they're aware of the statistics. One of the hardest things, though, is vetting any professional, like whether it is a counselor, a lawyer, a doctor. You do have to vet them all, even if they are of the same ethnicity, because one of the things that we have is, I think we have this thing in us that says just get up and go. Just you gotta shake it off and move on, and you don't have time for that. And that's the type of thing that even if even if that person is of the same ethnicity, they could still hold those beliefs.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Sarah? Sarah said the book came yesterday. I don't remember what day is anything. Hey, Becky. As far as the strong Black woman, there's a section in this article that says strong Black woman syndrome. And
Yes.
it says one thing that keeps many Black women from reaching out for help is the belief that we should be able to handle anything on our own.
Yes, because we've had to. I mean, if you really think about our history just within this country, from the time of slavery, we were taken, our children were snatched from us, and we had to watch somebody else's kid, or we were in the field, or we had to cook and take care of somebody else's home while then go home and take care of ours. And you know, we never we never had the opportunity to think about self-care. And right now I'm thinking about my own grandmother,
Mhm.
who I remember that, now I can get my nails done. This is going to sound trivial, right? Now I can get my nails done, and I can get a pedicure, and I can get some of those things. But when I think about my grandmother, she didn't have time for that. She didn't have time for the simple things of getting her nails and pedicures done. She had to take care of her 5 kids and take care of her home and things of that nature. And so she used to be like, "What are you doing? Just go on in there." I'm like, "No, I have to get my nails done." I know that sounds trivial to some people, but you can literally, in some of our families, track even the care of self, and how we had to figure out how to just, it's okay for us to love ourselves.
Right.
It's okay to just be, not do, just be. Like, we're just coming into that place.
Yeah. Angela Davis says, spit that knowledge. And Lachelle said, yes, or people judging you.
Yes, that judgment, that is something that I speak to a lot with many of my clients, because I often hear, like, when they make a decision that's just for them, whatever that decision is, they made it just for them. They thought about, maybe I didn't want to come to the holiday function. I actually had a client say she doesn't want to engage in the holiday function. And there's this pressure on us to be perfect.
Yeah.
We have to be perfect. We have to get the best grades. We have to look the best. Or your hair is not in place. Or and it's like, it's this weird thing that it encompasses us. Like, it's that, oh, what is it? The magical black woman.
Mm.
I don't know if you've heard that, but it's like, we are the fixer of all fixers. We make everything happen. What's her name from Scandal? You know who I'm talking about.
Olivia Pope.
And I know, and so when one day when we're like, I don't want to be Olivia Pope for you.
Right.
I don't want to fix your situation. We're seen as if, for lack, I don't know if I can say that on here, but we're with the B word, with the B in front of it. You know what I'm saying? We get that, and then when we stand up to say, no, this is wrong, I don't like this, we're called a bitch. For like, I don't know if I can say that, but that
you
is,
can say whatever you can.
That's how we are. That's how we are looked at, for standing up for ourselves. It's just, it's hurtful.
Yeah.
It's painful.
It is. And then it was another point in here, which is, I know it for myself. It says being uninsured is a huge problem for many people. And while 86% of Black women in America had access to health care last year's, levels of coverage vary, particularly among women of reproductive age. It talked about how their plan may cover medication, but for anxiety, but it doesn't cover therapy.
Yeah. It's now that insurance thing, that's a horse of a different color. You know what I'm saying? Because you can go to work every day and your job, and you can have health benefits, but your job does not pay for mental health, doesn't have mental health benefits for you. And I think that's for most of America. So that, I'm not going to go down that road, but I think many Americans, regardless of color, are being shortchanged when it comes to the benefits that I think we should have as a people, as a nation. This is America. We should have benefits and free stuff for everybody. That's I'm not going to go down that road. But as it pertains to African American women in particular, I think we are, and if I'm misquoting somebody, help me, but I think we're some of the most high. We have the highest education, and we're also in the top of entrepreneurs. Oh yeah, like we have some statistics that are absolutely amazing concerning us. But when you're an entrepreneur, sometimes you can't always afford the highest level of insurance. Now, one thing I will tell you though is that there are many mental health providers who have a sliding fee scale. Some don't, but there is something called a sliding fee scale, and it is, and depending on who that provider is, especially if it's a private practice. Now, if it's like a community-based practice, it may not be that way. But if it's a private practice, some of them do have sliding fee scales. So you do have to do research. So now you got to research is this person the right fit for me? Do they understand me? But then can they work with my level of income, whatever it is, or my ability to pay?
Right. Mm-mm.
So it's a lot to negotiate.
Man, it's a lot. It is a lot. And
Mhm.
it's Michelle, you said most insurance does cover therapy or doesn't. What were you saying? And then Angela said, hopefully our new president can help change the insurance issue. But that's a whole nother podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast. But it really does depend on the insurance provider, because some insurances will only pay for 12 visits. Some will only pay for like 6 months. That's it,
Right.
depending on the situation. And then some of them, there's an out of pocket expense. So, like, you may have insurance. However, the out of pocket expense, they may only cover maybe 70%. So, each person is different and each insurance company is different. And negotiating it and understanding it can be difficult. But if you have a job and you work for like an agency or a company or something, you could just probably talk to your HR department. You can figure that out, because I did know that there were people that for whatever reason didn't understand how to access their benefits, their mental health benefits, but they did have them. And I do know that there are still those who are working for themselves. And just because you work for yourself does not necessarily mean that you're able to pay $75 an hour for a mental health, for each visit.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Sarah said most policies she's found don't cover it well. It's by incident. And some don't cover it all. And then this is cool. Adina said that her county offers therapy, so to check with your county and see what they offer.
That was good information, because I didn't know. I honestly did not know that you could check by your county and your county would give you um, mental health services. So that's great. That was great information.
Yeah, that's what's up. Sarah said online resources like BetterHelp and Talkspace are affordable ish.
I like that.
Right, I like that. Well, another thing in this article that I found really awesome, and there's probably some points that we could like go back and forth on. It gives you 5 do-it-yourself ways to improve your mental health.
Okay.
And it says any woman can bolster her strength to get through trying times. The first one says ease into your day. And it says even if you start with just 10 minutes of meditation, prayer, or writing in a gratitude journal, you're starting the day at peace and in a positive fashion. And that was a suggestion from Neil Barnett. But that's that I can actually say that that's true for me.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you start your day and you are just all discombobulated, it carries throughout the whole day.
I would definitely agree with that. And there's actual statistics that speaks to those that are able to have some type of spiritual connection in the day. They have a calmer disposition. I do think that there are those of us who have no idea what it's like to actually be calm,
Mm.
and they may need some support and understanding that. Like, there's things that we do, for instance, like ruminating. And what that is we're constantly thinking about things, and we're making plans from sun up to sundown. So as soon as your feet hit the floor, you're thinking about the thing you have to do by the end of the day, and such and so forth. And so that a person that ruminates a lot may find it difficult to actually meditate. They may find it difficult to pray, or just to sit calmly and to uh, to offer gratitude. So that's where one has to really process for themselves and kind of or not even process for themselves, like they can, but you kind of know, your friends have probably told you that you're ruminating. If you ever heard like you worry a lot or you're thinking too much, you hear that around you, you may have issues.
This is my favorite one. Sit your ass down somewhere.
Yeah, now I've heard that. That has come to me. That has come to me. Thank you very much. I will tell you, this is the truth. My husband, I was talking, and he said, "You sure got a lot of words." And so it doesn't. I'm like, I'm being so serious. Like, you can be a therapist and have all of the information, but sometimes you need that support to tell you to sit your behind down somewhere, or can you just, just keep it to yourself.
Or breathe.
Breathe, yes.
Breathe. Well, I can say for sure that I'm just now starting to get into like meditation and whatnot, and even the little bit that I've done, it does help me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, getting up and just that was me. Like as soon as my feet didn't even hit the floor, and I'm just like, and none of that stuff even got done. It's just crazy.
In your mind, and then you think about what else you need to do on top of that, and what you need to do. It just goes. And as women, oftentimes we are managing the house. We're working on we're not just managing our house. We're managing our friends, and we're helping with and for those of us that are like, I'm in my 40s. I'll be 46, and so we got parents that we're trying to manage our parents, and then I have my children are in their 20s now. I'm trying to manage them, so that's a whole nother topic right there, and manage myself, and so many of us are in that position. So learning to meditate, and even if you can just find one thing every day to be thankful for, just one. It doesn't take a lot. You don't have to have 15 things, but maybe you can only meditate for a minute. Some people are up to meditating for like 10, 15 minutes. But if you can just meditate for a minute, I'm not sure who said it, but I think somebody mentioned headspace. There's like
talk space.
So there's talk space for that, but there's something called headspace to help you meditate. And there's also apps that you can get on your phone to help you meditate as well. Like
I use an app on my phone called Shine, and it's by two Black women.
Oh, that's real good.
Yeah. What was I about to say? Oh man, I don't remember because I'm chaotic in my mind.
I have ADHD in real life. Like, it's not even fake. I have ADHD, and so I'm always buzzing. So there's that too. We have some other things. So
what are some things that you do to help that?
Oh, for me,
yeah,
I have a schedule, and I don't want nobody laughing at me, but I literally have a schedule on my wall that tells me, like, when you get up, you do this, and this. When you get ready for bed, you do this. I actually have a written schedule on my wall. I have a routine that I follow, like what you said, as far as like there's a prayer, there's a mantra that I do to calm me. So so that's how I'm able to do it. And then I also, nobody judge me, but I have about 3 alarms. Like if I have to go to like a meeting, I have an alarm to get up. I then have an alarm that tells me, like, if my meeting starts at 10 a.m., I have to put an alarm on that tells me it is now 9 a.m. You should be dressed by now. Then
I'm laughing.
Then I have an alarm that said it is 10:15. You need to be at this meeting, So I have to set like several different alarms because my mind will just be skipping in the field.
Yeah.
And I'm laughing about it, but I'm not ashamed of it.
Yeah.
I learned how to work with myself instead of against myself. In this society, there's this thought that you should just be able to do it. You don't need to write stuff. I don't know where people got that from. But for me,
Um,
I have to
I
have
have,
a schedule,
mhm.
and I have a lot.
I was just saying, writing does help a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this dope therapist that I follow on TikTok, and
Mm-hmm.
she gives us a tip every Thursday, therapy
Mm-hmm.
Thursday she calls it. And the last one she gave was about the gratitude thing. And she said in the morning, write down something that you're grateful for, you have gratitude about, and then in the evening also do that again and try and do that every day. And I'm
Yeah,
like, man, and it actually makes a difference. It
it,
really
it
does.
really does. Finding something to be thankful for is important, but writing something down and creating a plan for myself, like there's an app that I use called Todoist, because it tells me, like, I can go on there and it's certain things I know for that day I need to do because I will literally forget. So I put it in there and I can access it from my phone, and then I can also access it on the computer. So it goes like with whatever technology that I'm using, I can access it. So I always have it in hand. I even have to put my grocery list on there, and
Wow.
I'm okay with that. And for some of us that we have so much going on, it's just really hard to remember everything.
Right.
And
I would forget the app.
it's I had to train myself, like literally train myself to utilize the apps, especially like when I was going to school and trying to finish out my education. I had everything. I had to have my alerts and my alarms, and I'm okay with that.
Man.
Yeah. But what were the other stuff? What were the other four things?
So the second one is form a sister circle. It says whether we're doing each other's hair, playing cards, or listening to music in the living room, Black women have always come together to share their worries. But it
Yeah.
says the power of Black women gathering to support and uplift one another is an indigenous form of healing. And then it just says, it says also figure out who's adding drama to your life and draining your energy, and then set boundaries to limit the interaction, if any, that you have with those type of people.
Yes. Is that two? That's just two?
That's just number two.
So I absolutely love that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I totally agree with that. One of the key things when it comes to setting your boundaries, you really have to know yourself, because I have found that many of us are givers, but we give from an empty vessel. And you
Wow.
after a while, because you have nothing pouring in, so you have to have, like, it's one thing to have a sister circle, and every time you enter this sister circle, there's something wrong with you or you've done something. Like, that's not a good sister circle, right? You
Right.
have to have a sister circle, or a circle of people around you who can find good things to say to you about you, who can find who acknowledge that you might make mistakes, but they don't hold the mistakes against you. They're not judging you. I think somebody said that on when they typed in, like, judging. And because we're all going to make mistakes, so it's who will allow you to be human.
Right.
We're not perfect. There are no perfect people. There are none. We're
No.
going to say things wrong. We're going to do things wrong. And if I'm willing to apologize for that thing that I did wrong, I would, and mean it. That's the other thing. Because you can apologize, but I mean, if somebody's apologizing and you sincerely think that they mean it, let it go. Because that's the other part of
Yeah.
the circle. But Black women have always taken care of each other.
Yeah.
Just always. And I always not I get upset when I hear us saying that we don't take care of each other, because that is a lie. That's the way that we have survived for centuries. We have taken care of each other. We have protected each other. We have kept each other safe. That's also one of the reasons that we didn't think we needed therapy or we needed outside help, because we came together, auntie, cousins. And one of the interesting things for us, after a while, you're not even a friend no more. You cousin so and so, or
Yep. You a sister, you a
you
cousin, you
we
yep, auntie, whatever.
ain't even friends no more. We have now become family because
Right.
it is what it is, and we do that for each other. And I like celebrating that about us. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, me too.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. Number 3 says take note of your emotional triggers. Notice what actions, phrases, or situations can put you in a terrible mood or lift you up on a cloud of joy. They're equally important to recognize.
Fair enough. I think one of the hardest things, and I think I said this earlier, is like you have to know yourself. You have to, because we're evolving and growing. And the person I was in my 20s is not the person I happen to be in my 30s. And the person I was in my 30s is not who I am in my 40s, mid 40s. I am not that person. I've changed, right? So you have to take the time to get to know yourself now,
Right.
right? And then, because one of the things that I say is, I heard it somewhere else and I've taken it as my own. You have to tell your own story, write your own narrative before somebody else writes it for you.
Indeed.
And so when you're truthful about who you are, if you know that you like to nag, and I'll use me, I like to annoy people. It makes my soul happy to be annoying. I can't tell you why. Don't anybody ask me. I can't tell you why. But I know that I enjoy it. But I have to own it, right?
Right.
Because that's something that people are like, you just get on my nerves. I'm like, okay, I've done my job. But I had to be honest that there are times that people they don't want to hear my stupid joke. They don't want my they don't want me to send them certain things. And so, but I
Same.
enjoy it. It might be something that I enjoy, but as my friend, I'm not going to do that. Now, that relates though to understanding what your triggers are. Like,
Right.
one of my triggers to annoying people is anybody that seems like they're stuck up, or anybody or pretentious. Anybody that has that type of vibe, oh, that's a trigger for me. I got
You could not work at my job. You could not. You would be on the ziggity boom all day.
all day. I mean, I'm making a joke, but it's like we're being silly, but like that's a trigger too, right? It's a positive thing, and there's some good things. Like
Right.
talking to you, Leah, is a joy for me. Like going on your Facebook page to see what you have posted, I'm like, what has she posted now? And I'll just be on your page,
I appreciate that.
But that and that's not. It's just the truth, because I think comedians are my form of therapy. So when you say that to somebody, they're like, come on. I'm like, I'm dead serious. But you have to know yourself.
Right.
You can't get healing the same way another person would.
That is so true. That is so true. Number 4, and even though, well, yeah, anyway. Number 4, it says do a quarterly relationship check-in. So before I read what it says, every once in a while I stand down and I'm like, hey, is your food good? Do you need some new toys? Is your water bowl heavy enough so that when you slap it, it makes a lot of noise? We have these talks, and it's really good to have those kind of talks even with other humans.
I agree.
It says, is there something you're not getting from your partner? Example, attention, assistance, affection. What would it look like if you were getting it? Take some time to think about this. Start a conversation. Practice. It shows that you're vulnerable. And it shows you that you have a habit of asserting your needs.
I definitely agree with that. I always say a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So um, this summer, my best friend Prestina, who was the author of the play,
Christina Glover.
yeah, when God changed my almost, that was the
Yeah.
play that she wrote. So it was her birthday, and Leah, and I was like, well, what's this list and what's this? And I'm like, I asked her to tell me the things that she wanted, and it was such a pain pulling from her. What do you want?
It's
We can
hard
all,
for people to even do that though sometimes.
and that's exactly where I'm going. The majority of us can tell people what we don't want.
Yeah.
But when it comes to telling people what do we want, that is where the problem is. And one of my friends will tell me, some of them, because you haven't said it to me yet, but some of my friends will tell me, like, you're really annoying. You know what I'm saying? Because am the I am the person that I don't like that. I don't want that. And I don't they said quarterly, like I'm now in my skin now where it's like no on spot. I will probably like, I don't like that. And I don't want to do that. A friend just asked me, did I want to go out? I said, no, COVID is out there. I don't want to go anywhere. So, you know, and she was like, but you know what? I said, I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? So I have learned to just really be in my space. And the people that can take it, they do. And those that can't, I mean, it's okay. We just need a little more distance between us. But that check-in is necessary. But the check-in has to start with oneself. Because we're thinking that we're telling people. And I like that one key thing about vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
Most of us, because we want
It's
to
not
be
cool.
strong, we don't want to be vulnerable. But vulnerability is power,
Yes.
right? And
A
it takes,
lot of people in over the years always equate that with weakness.
and it is not.
It's not.
It is not. It is. I tell some of my female friends, I've said to them, well, did you tell that man that you loved him, or did you tell that person that you loved them? No, I didn't tell them. Why didn't you tell them that you loved them? I didn't want to say it first. Was it true? It was, yeah, I loved them. And I'm sitting there like, and now you're wondering what happened in this relationship with this significant other. You didn't want to be vulnerable. Maybe you get your feelings hurt and they don't feel the same way back. But I say, so what to that? I've gotten my feelings hurt before where a person did not feel the same way about me that I felt about them. But it was easy to get rid of them at that point, right? Now, just
Right. You take that chance to clear your path.
that's it, to get to somebody that will want to share your life or will want to be your friend.
Yeah.
So vulnerability is power. And most people do not realize the power that they actually have over themselves, over their life. There's some things we cannot control, but there are some things we can. And it's okay to say goodbye to somebody that doesn't feel the same way about you.
Right.
But find out.
Exactly. Because if you don't know, then you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Dina said that she does those checks with her husband. That's dope. And then she said her husband stresses telling what you need and want and how you feel. That's what's up.
That's so dope. My husband tells me I have too many words. And
That is always hilarious.
it tickles me. He feeds me. He feeds me, so I know that I'm loved. But then he says, "This is the truth." Who was that? Dina. That was Dina that said that.
Uh-huh.
Well, my husband will tell me you get 2,700 words a day. Her husband is dope.
Oh, I can't.
And he'll tell me like you at 3,000 words now. So her husband is so dope.
She said hers tells her that too. but she doesn't do well speaking about herself.
Oh, okay. So she needs to. I applaud him so much.
Does your husband have a word counter in his pocket?
You know, he is one of those people. He doesn't talk a lot. I promise you, I think he's from like the 1950s or something. He's not the guy that is actually going to say a whole lot. He doesn't say a whole lot, but he will listen. And
that's what's up.
So I do like that because I do have too many words. So I do need to listen, you know. But so I don't know about his word counter, but somewhere in his head, he's like, okay, it is 11 o'clock at night. You have talked to me since. I appreciate that.
Shut it down.
I do appreciate that because the same thing. Like if you're telling somebody what you need, then they ought to be able to tell you what they need.
Right.
You know, and I think that that's called a relationship, and that's called communication. Right. And when you have somebody who knows that you don't talk about yourself, and who knows that you're often doing for everybody else, but you forget you, that's amazing that they want to know about you, and they want you to talk about you and acknowledge what you need.
Balance. It gives you balance. Yeah.
It does.
That's dope. Salute to Elgin.
Yeah.
Number 5 says, get enough rest. It says sleep is directly linked to mental health.
It is.
Be sure you're getting at least 7 to 8 hours a night.
Now, what's interesting is that I've heard some information that some of us don't actually need.
I was going to say the same thing.
Some of us don't need that much.
Yeah.
So you have to listen to your body.
Yep.
Your body will tell you if you've gotten enough rest. Some of us, and I don't know how they do it, but they take cat naps. They like sleep for 3 hours at a time. Now, I don't understand it. That is not me.
But they be so good sometimes.
Yeah, but it's good to them. You know, they like, I got my 3 hours. They go to sleep at 10. They might wake back up at 1, and now they're working and doing what they need to do. Take another nap, wake back up. I don't know how that happened. You know, I don't know. But I need 6 straight hours. 6. If I get 7, for some reason, I'm going to be tired.
Yeah.
I don't understand why I'm more tired after having more sleep.
Usually 5 or 6 straight hours for me is really, really good.
Good for me.
If I sleep longer, I must have just been worn out. And then if I sleep too long, that ruins me as well, because I'm just like, I'm just messed up.
That's when I get too much sleep. That's exactly how I feel. One of the things I would tell us is that if you have a good doctor that you love and you trust and you have a good relationship with, talk to them about some of this stuff, right? Yeah. Because whether it's sleep or whatever, you can talk to them about some things. Also, doctors may actually have connections to a mental health provider. Not all the time, but sometimes they do.
That's true.
You don't know. So when you're fit, there's another key thing though, is some things are physical, some things are mental, some things are both. So it is good to have all around health check if you can get it. Like some people, if they change their diet, they might find some of their mental health stressors will go away.
Yeah.
And exercise, I don't like to do it either. That is my truth. I would much rather eat, but I have found that if I get myself a little exercise, sometimes I feel better.
I have to agree with that, even though I'm horrible at keeping up doing that on a regular basis.
Me too. I'm horrible at it.
And I mean, I get it in though,
this arm? Oh yeah. Like
My elbow be hitting.
I'm trying to tell you, I got muscle in this. That is my reality, you know. And I think that because, and I'm saying that like even as a mental health professional, like I have to make sure that I'm checking the boxes too. There,
Yeah.
I have to make sure that I'm doing what needs to be done. I'm not sure if I've said this before, but like when I experienced a significant amount of grief, I had to go get grief and loss counseling for myself because it's not always easy to see yourself. That's why, you don't go to your friend for therapy, you know, because so you shouldn't really be doing therapy on yourself. Now, we know there's some things you can do to feel better, but now if you're still noticing that here's some things that are still happening, it might behoove you to go ahead and get some support from an outside source that doesn't know you. And I did that. I went and got me some grief and loss counseling because I couldn't figure out like what is happening. I know these things to do. I'm actually doing these things and I'm not feeling better. And I actually had to go to an objective person who helped me to understand what was happening with me in this particular grief and loss situation. And I was helped, you know. And sometimes you can be helped in 1 or 2 visits. You don't have to be there for 6 visits. You don't have to be there for a whole year. Sometimes it's just, I need an objective person that doesn't know me to sit with me and help me tease this apart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I appreciate that from you because you've always been very transparent about that. And, not just like, oh, I'm the therapist. I don't need anything. I just talk to you. You admit that you also,
Definitely. Because it's foolishness to think that you have all the answers. Now, some people, that is their presentation. That's not mine. I know who I am. I'm comfortable with my shortcomings. I'm also comfortable when I've had people come to me and we sat down and we did an assessment with them. And I realized, like, you know what? I think that you might need something different. I might not be the right fit. And that's what I want to tell people. Like, you're not, you don't give up on therapy just because you sat with the person and they weren't the right fit. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Because try again, right?
Yeah.
And if they're, in my estimation, a therapist worth their snuff, then they will sit with you to help you find what you need. It's not always about money.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. Like, for me, I got into this career because I really wanted to help. I didn't get in this career to make money, I got in it to be helpful. So if I'm recognizing that I'm not actually able to help this person, whatever the reason is, doesn't matter the reason. Let's find you the right help that you need. So I just want to encourage anybody or everybody, don't give up.
Yeah.
Don't give up.
So tell us about your website. I see you have a actually I'm gonna pull that up here right quick.
Listen, I am also one of the slowest people. I've had my private practice for a while now.
Mm-hmm.
I just did a website this year.
Hey, that's okay. That is okay.
Yeah, so it just has all my information in it.
Yeah.
Certifications and organizations that I am proud of being a part of.
Mm-hmm.
And I am a part of the National Association of Black Counselors, and I am really excited about that. American Counseling Association and Infant Mental Health, my aim. Like those are my 3 that I'm like supercharged about. And I don't really know what else to say about any of them other than I am excited that I finally do have a website. There's a little brief bio about me on there, and then there's also my information.
Congratulations on your website.
Finally.
Shoot, ain't nothing wrong with that. Hey, I'm gonna have me a website. I'll probably be 67, but I'm gonna have one. You know what I'm saying? So don't. Hey, congratulations.
Listen, I truly believe in taking my time. I don't rush myself, for anything. And I would encourage anybody that's listening, like, don't rush yourself. There's no such thing as perfection, but you can be the best you. Take your time. It's okay to admit that you don't have it all together. That is perfectly fine. It's actually more helpful,
Definitely.
Because if somebody sees me out and they're like, oh my God, you put away a whole ice cream, big bowl of ice cream with, if you should so happen to see me out somewhere.
And I do it again.
This is a part of my self-care regimen.
Okay.
You're not expecting me to be, giving us some great diet, some great, I don't know, statement every time you see me. I might say something crazy. I might pull a Cat Williams joke off the top of my head. Who's to say? You never know. But I'm going to always be myself, and I'm going to always be comfortable in my skin, and I think that that's important.
That's what's up. I thank you for your humanity. And you guys check out Chy's website, which is elevationmcj.com. Show her some love. And I appreciate everybody for tuning in. What's up, Nikki? What's up, Kelly? I think I got everybody. Moki. Yeah, I appreciate you. You are always welcome back. And everybody tune in 2 weeks. I will be talking with Raquel Newton about self-care.
Awesome.
Yeah, because we need that too.
Definitely.
That's a part of mental health as well. So thank you so much. I appreciate you for taking time out of your schedule to be on here. And I love you.
Love you too, Leah.
Keep doing what you're doing. And everybody have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. Share this video, like this video, and all that good stuff. Don't go nowhere, Chy.
Okay.
All right.
Off topic.
Make sure to subscribe.